Hello everyone, welcome to Artventure. My name's Kirsty. This artwork we're going to do is a space artwork, but it's going to be a homemade rocket ship artwork. So the first thing we always do is our border. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my homemade rocket ship, and I'm going to do that by firstly doing a rectangle. But my rectangle's not quite straight, it's a bit crooked, which is good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a window. I'll put my face in there later. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add lots of bits of what I'm going to pretend is tin, and then I'm going to put some dots here, and that's where I'm going to pretend that I've put my nails in to hold my rocket ship together. But when I do these dots, you'll notice that I'm not going, because what that does is it creates a tiny little mark. It's noisy as well, but also when we come to paint, it's not actually going to work very well. When we paint over it, those dots will disappear. So the way I do my dots is I do a little circle and then I colour it in. So lots of pieces of tin to hold my rocket ship together. Okay, now I'm going to add my roof. So I'm going to make this line a bit bigger here, like that, and then I'm going to turn that into a triangle. So up and down. There we go. Now this is also made of tin, so I'm going to add some more bits of tin that my rocket ship is held together with. Now I need to be able to communicate with the people back on Earth, so I'm going to give my rocket ship an antenna. There's my antenna. Now my rocket ship needs some boosters where the flames come out to rocket me into space. So there's my two boosters, and then I'm going to add some flames. So when I add flames, I come down, and then I turn that into a V. See how that turns into a letter V? And down, letter V, like that. It's also like a bit of a zigzag. And then I'm going to add the same shape on the inside, but just in a different colour to show that that's my flame. I'm going to draw a little picture of myself in the window. There we go, there's my face in the window. Now I am ready to do my planets and things. Now I'm not going to do my planets to scale, which means that I'm not going to draw them the size that they actually are. I'm going to exaggerate it a bit. So up here I'm going to do my, you see if you can figure out what this is going to be. I'm going to do the same shape as I did down here for the V's, but instead it's going to be much bigger. That's right, it's the sun. So, but don't worry, I'm not flying into the sun, I'm just flying past the sun. Don't know what planet I would be going to. Which planet would you go to if you were to go in a rocket ship? And then I'm going to add a planet. So I'm going to add I might add Saturn. So the first thing I do for Saturn is I do a hill like that. The next thing I do is I might actually choose a different colour for this bit. for the rings on Saturn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a little bit further up than the bottom of that hill, and I'm also going to finish a little bit further up than the bottom. So just do 2 little marks if you need that reminder. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out, back in, out and back in, like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the same spot again, but this time I'm going to come out, across and further down. So watch this. Out, across, further down, and out, across and back in at the same point again. So there's my rings, but I need to finish doing the bottom of Saturn. So make sure that my lines are still touching that bit, the rings there. And then I need to imagine where my circle would go. So if my circle's there, I need to imagine where the bottom of the circle would be. I'm not going to draw over my rings in Saturn. There we go. And then I'm going to add some, where's my grey? There it is. I'm going to add a moon up here, just side of it though. I'm not doing the whole circle because the rest of the circle would be going outside my picture. And I'm just going to do some double circles here, and they represent the craters in my moon. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my white crayon and I'm going to do some stars. Now you won't be able to see these stars because they're white and I'm drawing on white paper, so there's no contrast there whatsoever. If you don't know what contrast means, go to the tips and find out what it means. But when you come to paint, or when I come to paint, I'm actually going to be able to see every single star that I've done. If you need a tip on how to do a star, what I do is I do a cross or an X, and then I do a T on top of it, like that. Or you could do it the other way. You could do a T first and then an X in the middle. So X and T, and that's what will make a star. So I'm just going to fill up all my background with these stars. Now I'm ready for painting. So I'm going to keep my black sky till last, because what will happen is if I use black first, then my water is going to get even dirtier than it already is, and it's going to make it very tricky to get my clean colours. I'm lucky because I've had lots of practice, so I know how to make my paints clean. And you can also go to tips on using paints if you're not too sure how to clean your colours. If you come across a paint that's already got black sitting on top of your yellow, you can go to the tips on using paints to figure out how you can clean your paints. Okay, so here come my stars that I did in white before. There we are, there is my artwork for outer space and my homemade rocket ship.